After taking Final Fantasy XIV's Ninja to maximum level and being incredibly disappointed by its performance, leveling the Dragoon was a breath of fresh air. It's simple, action-packed, and it's got my blood of the dragon pumping, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. In today's video, I'm going to give my impressions of the level 80 Dragoon. Let's get started. Based off that introduction, I think it's very clear that I'm very happy with the way the Dragoon plays. This has been one of the most enjoyable experiences that I've had leveling in Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm not sure if that feeling is going to last forever, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through my impressions. What I found most interesting about the Dragoon is the fact that it takes the most basic elements of melee fighters in Final Fantasy XIV and it expands on it. Instead of using a 1-2-3 combo, the Dragoon evolves and learns a 1-2-3-4-5 combo. Just adding extra hits to the end of a combo isn't a big deal, but the Dragoon takes things a step farther. There's one combo starter and two combo chains. If you land hits 4 and 5 in the correct position, your combo starter gets enhanced and changes from True Thrust to Raiden Thrust. This makes the Dragoon feel punishing but also rewarding for landing things in the correct position and order. For some quick math, the Dragoon weapon skills that have direction bonuses lose 40 potency when you miss the position. Furthermore, missing a position bonus on weapon skill 4 or 5 in your combo will lose out on the 40 potency from the weapon skill itself, and you'll miss out on True Thrust turning into Raiden Thrust for another 40 potency lost. Missing out on these potencies will add up very quickly, so you want to pay attention to what you're doing with the Dragoon. I've been thinking of the job as a meathead DPS because there's not much you have to think about besides hitting your buttons as they light up, but forcing me to pay attention to my positions to get the most out of my weapon skills is crucial to making the job feel engaging. The next mechanic that's layered on top of the 1-2-3-4-5 combo that the Dragoon uses is Blood of the Dragon. Blood of the Dragon is a damage buff that increases the potency of jump or high jump and spine shatter dive by 30% and allows the stacking of eyes. Every time you use the ability Jump, it can be complemented by a second ability called Mirage Dive, and Mirage Dive unlocks an eye. When you have two eyes, using Gerskogel, another ability that's connected to Blood of the Dragon, unlocks Life of the Dragon and changes Gerskogel to Nastrond, which has a higher potency and a shorter cooldown. That might sound a little bit confusing and my pronunciations are probably a little bit off, but when you're actually playing the Dragoon, it all makes sense. With that in mind, all of these off-global cooldown abilities are what makes the Dragoon feel like a sports car. You are always putting the pedal to the metal, and even though there are moments of downtime with the job, it never feels like I'm truly slowing down. Part of the sensation of never slowing down for me comes from the 1-2-3-4-5 combo system. Successfully landing the 4th and 5th hit of your combo in the correct position is a bit of a daunting task, and every time it comes around I'm thinking to myself, okay, get ready, we gotta make this work, either through the true north roll action or correct positioning. The reason this is such a daunting task is because of the transformative effect that landing your positionals has on True Thrust, your combo starter. Because there's no transformative effect when other jobs land weapon skills in the correct position, I don't feel as compelled to do so, even though it is incredibly valuable, and you'd be a fool to not land weapon skills in the correct position on the Samurai, Ninja, or Monk. But with the Dragoon, you get extra damage, which is always nice, but you also get a new animation, and that alone is enough to make landing my correct positions feel more rewarding than landing something like Boot Shine from the rear on the Monk, even though the Monk gets significantly more damage for landing a Boot Shine than the Dragoon gets for using Raiden Thrust. Another thing that's worth noting is that the Dragoon is the only melee DPS that does not use attack speed enhancing buffs. But even so, it feels very quick and very active because of all the buttons you have to press at every moment of your rotation. With all of that said, there's not much else for me to say about the Dragoon. It's an awesome job and I think everybody knows that, but part of the problem is that there isn't that much to say about the Dragoon. There are certainly optimizations you can do, and there's a level of mastery that you can achieve by sticking with the job for a long time, but the amount of time you have to put into the Dragoon to master it pales in comparison to some of the more complex jobs, and I do enjoy complexity in my jobs. Another comparison that I can make is, imagine dating someone that's very attractive, but they're not very bright. That's what the Dragoon is like. It's so sexy, jumping around and doing so much damage, whether it be a single target or a large group. The Dragoon rips and tears through everything. But after a week of ripping and tearing, I kind of wish there was a little bit more for me to learn, and there isn't. It's all on the surface with the Dragoon, and unfortunately, there's no deeper that I can go. Meanwhile, on the Samurai, another job that I've sung the praises of, it is also action-packed. It's very sexy, but there's also a level of complexity with managing all of the job's resources and mechanics and abilities that doesn't exist on the Dragoon. To wrap things up, the Dragoon is frickin' amazing, and I would wholeheartedly recommend anyone to pick it up and play it, even if you've already got a main. For me, the Dragoon is never going to be my main DPS job, but I am certainly going to pick it up and play it whenever I feel like I need a rush of unadulterated fun, because that's what this job is. It's fun, and nothing more, nothing less. To make things even better, the Dragoon is incredibly powerful despite being so user-friendly and easy to pick up and play and master. And this is something that I hope remains true throughout the job's existence. And there we go, that's going to do it for my impressions of the Dragoon. These were a little bit shorter than my other impressions videos, but it's only because the Dragoon is such a simple job. There wasn't all that much for me to talk about and break down, and really the only thing that needs to be said about the Dragoon is that it's awesome. Just go play it, simple as that. Before we close out completely, I'd like to give a special shout out to my two newest patrons, Rodney and Gabriel. Thank you for the additional support. It is incredibly meaningful to me. There's also another unsung hero out there, and I'd like to say thank you to you as well. I've been making content on YouTube for a long time, and knowing that people are enjoying my content so much, it's incredibly amazing. So thank you very much for your patronage. So if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support the channel more than you already do just by watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting, you can head over to patreon.com/iBluairJgR to become a patron. As always, the name of the game is Final Fantasy XIV, the name of the channel is iBluairJgR. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.